I just want to start this off the right way by saying that Matthew is a robot. A robot has a specific list of instructions and they will see it through to follow on these instructions. You saw it in the pods on day one when Matthew walked in, and Matthew had a list of questions. If someone tries to deviate from his list of questions and ask him a question, no, we're going to stop and I'm only asking questions. Even if you partake in an answer long enough, I'm going to walk out because you're stopping me from my process of asking you all of these questions. Matthew said the same thing to two separate women because he has to follow the list of instructions. This is how his brain is designed to go. Even down to AD saying how his place is and how he functions in his lifestyle. It is because of this. When I think of AD saying that she went on 2 dates, not one, but 2 with Matthew, in my subjective opinion, Matthew smashed. That is very important. I think that Matthew had sex with AD. I have nothing to prove this. This is just only a theory of mine. But if Matthew did not have sex with AD, he damn sure tried. Because in the list of fuckboy instructions, if you are a fuckboy robot, the list is, I'm supposed to go on date with said woman. After the date, we're supposed to move to a more private setting, which is going to one of our houses. I'm going to say something not politically correct. The fact that AD is an attractive, dark-skinned black woman, you know what I'm saying, the kind of the women she's going to hang with in lifestyle, when she thinks outside of the box to her and wants to give a Matthew a try, someone who looks like if Rick Morales ate a box, she's not going to have that kind of person show up at her crib where other people can have the same reaction as Clay did when she first told Clay that Matthew was an option. Matthew? She's not going to do that. So I'm going to assume they went to Matthew's place. You don't want a fuckboy robot to have the control of the environment that you're inside of their place. A robot who has such shallow lack of depth of all the foods he could cook for a black woman, he decides to make chicken. This has been edited, but I just laughed for like 4 minutes straight. Right. He decides to make a black woman chicken. The instructions: date, private setting. I'm going to control the environment. I'm going to cook chicken. On that list is to get closer. On that list is to try to kiss. On that list is to try to make the attempt to get intimate. And if you're thinking, that's only on Matthew's part, what about AD? He has to have consent. AD was supposed to go straight through the green light. The problem with AD is that she turns right every single time. And she got beat over the head, knowing all the spikes, the construction, the fire, everything on that road when she turns right. She continues to turn right. And she tried to turn right with all the fucking red flags there telling her not to turn right and go on Clay Road. She was supposed to go straight. She got so upset at herself for turning right on Clay Road that she overcorrected and turned left on Matthew Road. When you make this overcorrection, you're not in your right state of mind. You're sad. You're depressed. This is a desperate attempt. The kind of mind frame that you are in to be inside of Matthew's environment while he's making you chicken after he was already more powerful in his verbiage that he had you chuckling, smiling, gushing, and you couldn't even see his face. But now he has more weapons. He has the nuances of the eye contact. He has the nuances of the hand touch. He has the nuances of getting close to you. He has the nuances of you're in a desperate mindset thinking, maybe I can make this work. So you're looking around Matthew's place. You're seeing it's nice. You're seeing Matthew got a good job. Probably somewhere in your head you're thinking that Matthew is kind of lame. So maybe you could exert some more sense of control with a person like that, not realizing you have no power at all in your mind state. When I think of a woman like that in Matthew's place and he has his list of robotic instructions, he's going for the kill. And I know that wine is involved and you're in this lonely kind of state. When he goes in for more, something happened. The mistakes we make in desperation to escape our biggest fear of being lonely. Biggest fear of being lonely. Thought about being lonely. And I thought about what's the difference between being lonely and being hurt about a fuckboy situation that you should have never been in. So when I think about AD being lonely, I think about AD chilling in her home or her apartment, and AD goes to the couch and she sits down and she goes to watch Netflix or whatever she watches on television. I don't think loneliness is consistent. I think loneliness comes in small spurts to remind you you're lonely, but then loneliness leaves. So when you are alone in your place and you sit down on the couch, and let's say you watch Love is Blind, and you wish you had a man, and you watching Love is Blind, and it gets to Brett and Tiffany, and you're like, oh, I want that kind of love. At that moment, you may feel loneliness creep in. I want to be like Brett and Tiffany. But then the scene changes to some fucking drama situation, and you're sitting there on your couch by yourself, eating your popcorn, and you're smiling, you're laughing, you're being entertained. You're not thinking about loneliness. Loneliness comes in and out in little small spurts to remind you of loneliness. And that's on one side. But what do you do to not be lonely? You get in fuckboy situations. So on the other side is extreme trauma. Extreme trauma never leaves. It's consistent the entire time. The moment AD walked off that stage when Clay did not choose her, every single minute second, she was feeling pain and hurt from the rejection of Clay. A powerful, stinging, embarrassing, hardcore pain that is not leaving, no matter what you do. The moment you wake up, the moment AD woke up that next day, after Clay rejected her at the wedding, as soon as her eyes opened, she yawned. She felt that pain, the stinging, the rejection. When she brushed her teeth, she felt that pain, the stinging, the rejection. And when I look at it under those love lenses, this is far more impactful and powerful and hurtful than being lonely. So then I ask myself, then why do women keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again? I want you guys to think of a good action and how this good action came from a bad place. The good action is, of all the people on Love is Blind, no one was more dedicated to the process, the rules, the structure of Love is Blind than AD. That is good, but it came from a bad place. AD was so dead set on doing everything right in those pods, focusing, paying attention to personality, not thinking about how someone looks, committed to the process, to seeing it all the way through. Because what led her on that show is a series of fuckboys that she ignored red flags, and it put her brain into an extreme, desperate situation. So this good action was formed out of desperation. Because of the desperate acts that AD continuously did, there are a slew of men that she was with. Look at what self-worth does. I apologize, I don't remember her name, but Matthew had two choices. He had AD and he had the other woman. All these men and these bad red flags led AD to come onto this show. And when AD gets on this show, she goes right back into the red flag she's used to. She goes right back into Clay. Of all the men there, her two options, one of the two was major red flags. The other was her desperation in trying to think outside of the box, which was Matthew. Matthew turns out to be a fuckboy. Both women find out that Matthew's a fuckboy, but one of these women, which is AD, has extreme low value in herself. These are not even my words. These are her words. AD told Clay directly, I am not deserving of love while being on a show to find love. This is the low self-value that AD has in herself. The other woman, we don't even see that much of, but when we see her, we see her strict morals and principles. The split second she knew that Matthew was saying the same things to her and to AD, she only spoke to Matthew one more time, and that was to tell him, holla, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. When this woman does this action, she has freed herself to be open to the possibility of not only finding true love in the kind of man she likes, but because she has principles she was not bend for, if a man was to penetrate that, she has lowered her percentage by sticking to her morals and principles of ending up with a fuckboy. So if AD looks down the road and she sees this woman with someone, that's the reason why. It doesn't guarantee it. You have some clever, narcissistic assholes out here, but it decreases drastically because she's sticking to her morals and principles. But AD doesn't. So AD goes on the show. She has two options, both full of red flags. Fucks both of them, allegedly. The desperate actions you get with Clay, and then you go to Matt's place, and I know Matt's gonna try something. You've kissed both of them instantly, at least from your actions, from the lack of self-worth, from the loneliness feeling that hovers above and is pushing these extreme actions out. Let me show you guys how men think, right? On the reunion, they asked AD, would she get back with Clay? AD is going to feel like, high five, women. I showed them because I said I'll never get with him. Let me show you what a man heard watching that reunion show. This is what a man heard. Every time they asked you, you turned and you looked at Clay and you smiled and you flirted and all that. I'm going to decipher it for you. You said to us and you said to Clay, look, I got to make my girlfriends feel good like I'm strong, but you know me and you going to still be fucking. You know me and you fucking right now. And as you go through this whole thing where you're trying to find yourself, I know I'm a woman. I know I'm emotionally vulnerable. I know I can't just have sex with you without feeling. So as you become my regular person that I'm fucking all the time, I know that somewhere down the line, if you actually came to me and wanted to be in a relationship and looked me in my eye and said, let's do it, we're going to do it. So ultimately, we are together. That's what a man hears. That's what a man sees. You might not have the title, but you're tricking yourself by not having the title because, wait a minute. Clay doesn't want to marry you? Clay left you? You still gonna give Clay the goods? Clay can hit you up, call you all the time or do whatever, but he don't have the rules and the limitations he would need to go through in order to try to change. He can freely walk around and you can say nothing. He can smash, he can sleep with anybody he wants to, he can go anywhere, but he still has access to your body. He still can kick it with you. You get a little joke because you can put some pictures on your Instagram and all that stuff. And if you get backlash, you can always remind us, hey, we're not together. Man, I got a lot of women friends. I got all kind of women friends, and I've always been that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? Even way back in high school, you know, I'm 44 years old. We talking about back in the 90s, be like this on the phone, talking to fucking girls all the damn time. And I learned a lot about the rationale that women go through from teen years, 20s, 30s, 40s now. And some of the rational, the way y'all try to ration shit in your head is just consistently absurd to me. For instance, you know how many times a woman has told me, like, with some sense of pride, I don't sleep around. You don't know all these diseases out here, so I ain't like that. I got, and I'd be like, yeah, but you be fucking your ex. Yeah, but I'm just fucking one person. You and your ex broke up because he was fucking a lot of women. And then now he has no rules, and he can come get the pussy whenever he wants to. He probably still fucking a lot of women. Without protection, it can knock on your door anytime and fuck you, so you fucking all these people too. Every single time I say anything remotely like that back to a woman, the silence and the change of the subject speaks volumes. I just be wanting to know with women, Matthew's final time in that box, in the pod, his final time, we saw his true character because he was so hella bent and focused on how his perception would be to the world. That's the lasting thing that Matthew left on AD. If that's the lasting thing Matthew left on AD, he wants to make sure he gets a good edit. He wanted to try to emulate Zach running after Bliss and didn't understand that we don't see you as Zach at all. They say crazy people or psychopaths try to emulate what they think a normal person would do, but they always get it wrong because they're not a normal person, whatever that means. If that was Matthew's last thing that we saw from him, why would you go to his apartment to eat chicken? You see, you may feel like you was in control, saying like, oh yeah, we went on a couple of dates, but it didn't work out. I just let him know it didn't work out. You were never in control. You gave Matthew exactly what he wanted. He wanted to kick it with you. He wanted to chill with you. He wanted to get a second chance with a woman, be it you or the other woman, so he can try to get that good edit. I can't be all bad if AD came back to me after this and you gave it up one way or the other. Right to Matthew. So why should Matthew change? These quote unquote bad guys that you women see out here, why should they not be bad guys when everybody has their agenda in life? And if their agenda is to play with your heart, if their agenda is to have sex with you, if their agenda doesn't align with yours, but the steps that they're taking leads them to you giving them their agenda, why should they change? At the age that they are, at whatever age you meet this asshole at, he's not going to change from morals. He's not going to, I'm a bad person, I'm doing wrong. No. He has this list of instructions that he feels is best to achieve the goal he wants. When I first got on dating apps after getting a divorce, and I started talking to women for the first time, like serial dating and stuff, I was shocked to hear the horror stories of what these men was doing. But after enough swipe rights and going on enough dates, it wasn't the fact that I wasn't shocked. It was like, but you fucked. So, yeah, they're going to keep doing it. Or a woman would be shocked that a man came at her and said some foul shit. He didn't say something foul because he's an idiot. He said something that foul and insane because it worked with 8 previous women. No one does something that doesn't work. So we have a climate out here that women are just catering to guys that are walking red flags, and they know it, and they still go through with it. And then shit like this ends up happening to where AD had a serious bad man that led her onto this show. She had 2 options, and possibly both options, which were walking red flags, fucked. And AD's still single. Her inbox is probably fucking flooded with all of these quote unquote good options that don't have these red flags. A major thing I did learn through having women friends through all of these years, you fucking liars. Everyone I've spoken with had a good option. They may try to lie at first and all that, but you talk to them long enough, and I'm like, how long that dude? You remember? You had a good option. You gave up the good option for the most minuscule of reasons, the most minute little things. I feel like do whatever you want to do in life, but to get to a point to where like no one could feel sorry if you can keep doing the same action over and over and over again. And that goes for all of us. Go for me, go for men, everybody as well too. At some point you're gonna have to look yourself in the mirror. You got to stand up for yourself. You have to have these firm list of things, such as Matthew had these firm lists of things, and you have to stand by those. You're gonna have to do that for yourself. AD fine as hell, sexy woman. All that does is sit you down. That's all it does. Being fine just sits you down. So you're sitting down and you're talking to a man. Once you start opening your mouth, what comes out is based upon the lack of self-worth that you feel when you say that you're not ready for love. And it comes out in physical displays as well too. The humping over, the sitting there, the being giddy, the revealing of your PTSD and your past traumas that this guy is reading. Okay, I thought she was gonna be one of them hard women, them stuck up women being that fine, but she fine, but she done got fucked. Oh, I'm finna fuck tonight. I'm finna get up in that tonight, bro. 2 dates, 3 dates max. That's what's coming off to these guys. Being fine gets you in the seat. They looking at your words and what you say to use that against you to break you down, and you're giving it right to them. What women want to sit a man down on a date, and they want to say these bad things that they've been through. And they want this man to feel bad that they've been through these bad things and show them that he's not going to do it. But we can't act as if how the world should be. We have to act as how the world really is. And how the world really is, when you sit a man down and you tell him all of this stuff that you've been through, and all he's thinking is, that bitch put up with all of that shit and still fuck that nigga. I know I'm finna get in. That nigga was stupid, you know what I'm saying? Because I be more sneaky with my shit. That's what you putting yourself out here for, and you falling right into the trap of red flags. All the options someone like AD could have, Matthew and Clay hit it. I digress. You know, this is my last day in this hotel here. And I just want to say, I lied on my job application. Not nothing to get me fired or anything I won't put on a video. The lie that I said on my job application was, I'm willing to travel. And I guess technically it's not a lie because I am traveling. But this shit fucking sucks. I am packing up to go to another state to film into another hotel, and then I'll be packing up from that to go to another state to film into another hotel, and flying all over the fucking country and shit. And I don't want to do this stuff, man. It's boring sitting into this hotel, but I am reaping the benefits, for lack of better words, because I lied to myself. That's who I lied to. And as long as you guys lie to yourself, you're going to be running around, flying around, getting on a plane from dick to dick to dick to dick, even though you're not even trying to be that kind of person. Because you lied to yourself. So why should Matthew change?